while we were filming in Atlanta, I had already read the scene. I had a few people over to watch a football game or something, and Mackie was the first one to show up. I didn't know he didn't know what was going to happen, and he showed up first, and I said, "Hey, man, isn't that scene fantastic?" And he said, "What scene?" And I said, the scene where I give you the shield." And he said, "You giving me the shield?" And I said, "Oh, no."
Chris Evans is Hollywood's ultimate golden retriever. He's Captain America, the first Avenger, the guy who wields Thor's hammer and saves the universe without breaking a sweat. But behind the star-spangled shield, Chris is actually a deeply anxious overthinker, a terrible liar, and an absolute menace to his younger brother. Today, we're peeling back the superhero armor to look at the funniest, most awkward, and downright chaotic moments of Chris Evans' career. From giving away Marvel's most heavily guarded billion-dollar secrets to the brutal psychological warfare he wages on his own family on national television. Seriously, wait until you hear the childhood trauma he forced his brother to relive. But first, how does a guy who holds the most sensitive secrets in cinematic history survive massive global press tours when he literally cannot lie?
No, I'm a terrible liar, which is so weird because I act for a living. Yeah. But when you have lines that you're supposed to say in the context of filming, it's great. When it's actually real life lying, I feel like I have every tell you could possibly have.
Like, do you
I
play
get
poker?
red, I sweat, my eyes gaze, I'm touching my face.
You don't have a poker face.
I'm horrible at poker, which is such a shame because I love the game.
It's an absolute miracle Kevin Feige trusted this guy with the Infinity Saga. But the craziest part? Chris almost didn't take the role of Captain America at all. In fact, he turned it down multiple times. Imagine walking away from a life-changing, multi-million-dollar, 9-picture deal just because you have a little bit of social anxiety. Most actors would sell their souls for a Marvel contract, but Chris was terrified of getting locked into a suit he couldn't take off.
Yeah, I was scared because at first it was some 9-picture contract, and there are parts of me that have a little bit of social anxiety with this industry, and doing movies one at a time. If all of a sudden you decide you don't want to do them anymore, you're afforded the opportunity to take a step back and recalibrate. When you have a giant contract, if all of a sudden you're not responding well, too bad. You got to suit up again. That was scary.
He faced his fears, suited up, and became a global legend. But don't let the humble, anxious act fool you completely. Once Chris got comfortable in the Marvel machine, he started making some serious Hollywood power moves. When it was time to shoot Captain America in the sweltering heat of Atlanta, Chris didn't just ask for a nicer trailer. He pulled the ultimate diva move and got entirely exposed for it by Jimmy Kimmel.
Thank you.
It's a good one, yeah.
Nice. And the director's Korean, so we went to South Korea, and we landed. We were coming out of the airport, and it was a zoo, just like we were the Beatles. People were screaming, and they had one little rope to stop people, and that rope just got bulldozed, and very quickly we were surrounded. It kind of got a little nerve-wracking.
Okay, shipping your house across the country is a little unhinged, but it just proves Chris values his comfort and routine. However, you can't control everything, especially when you hit a level of global fame that even security teams aren't prepared for. While promoting Snowpiercer in South Korea, Chris expected a standard press tour. Instead, he walked straight into a screaming mob scene that forced his producers to deploy the most unintentionally hilarious VIP security protocol ever recorded.
Director's Korean, so we went to South Korea, and we landed. We were coming out of the airport, and it was a zoo, just like we were the Beatles. People were screaming, and they had one little rope to stop people, and that rope just got bulldozed, and very quickly we were surrounded. It kind of got a little nerve-wracking for a minute, and security came in and whisked us out of there, and
a massive security circle protecting absolutely nobody. Classic. But while Chris might need protection from rabid fans, his younger brother Scott desperately needs protection from Chris. Chris and Scott have a relationship that can only be described as chaotic sibling warfare. If you have a sibling, you know the drill. You love them, but you also want to destroy them. And Chris? He's ruthless. During a game of sibling weds on The Tonight Show, Scott finally got the chance to air out his childhood trauma, exposing the evil genius of a young Chris Evans.
Well, we're about to. We're here first, and then the whirlwind begins.
Do you like doing that? Do you like going to other countries? And do you get mobbed in places you never would have expected you might?
Yeah. Sometimes.
Like where?
Well, I mean, Marvel certainly kind of breaks you into that. But, you know, I actually, one of the crazier experiences didn't have anything to do with Marvel, actually. We did a movie a few years back called Snowpiercer.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
A master manipulator. But wait, it gets much worse. Because Chris didn't just ruin Scott's reputation with the babysitter, he almost ruined his physical health. In that exact same game, we learned that Chris's childhood antics occasionally looked like an actual crime scene.
Growing up, I was, God, I don't even know how old I was, like maybe 8 or 9. And we were watching TV, and my friend Sam was over watching TV, and my brother pushed me back into a coffee table, and I cracked my head open. And I ended up getting 4 stitches, but I remember, like, it pushed me against the table, and I hit it, and I had already cracked my head open once, and I was like, no blood, no blood, no blood. And my hand, it was like a murder scene. I was like, this is my dream job. And I was like, blood! And
Cracking your brother's head open is bad. Convincing him to wet himself is worse. But what Chris did next is the single most ruthless thing one sibling can do to another on national television. When Jimmy Fallon asked Chris to reveal Scott's most embarrassing memory, Chris did not hold back. He dropped a story so traumatizing, so deeply humiliating, that Scott physically tried to stop the segment. This is the absolute peak of sibling rivalry, and honestly, one of the funniest stories ever told on late night.
Pooped his pants.
Dude, this is the most embarrassing. This is beyond embarrassing. Oh, my God. Don't you should think of a different story.
I say this because I know, I hope he's okay. Maybe it's different on TV. But I've heard him tell this story. So my father, picked him up. We went to the bathroom. My father dumped his underwear back on the mountain. He pooped his pants again.
The sheer panic in Scott's eyes. You can actually see a man's soul leaving his body. But Chris Evans doesn't just torture his own blood. If you invite him onto your show, you are putting yourself at risk. Jimmy Fallon learned this the hard way when Chris showed up with a brand new casino game specifically designed to cause intense physical pain.
Oh! Do you see this? Do you see this? Yeah. It's ice water.
Where is the funnel ending up?
Yeah, I should have made that clear. You're gonna go down your pants, big guy.
Maybe use this camera, turn around.
Right.
Like through the zipper?
Oh, no. I think we go, yeah. You know it's gonna take a long time.
Do I just sit down? I hate this game. I don't want.
From an anxious actor terrified of a Marvel contract, to a guy with 30 bodyguards holding hands in an empty room, to an absolute nightmare of a younger brother. Chris Evans might be the worst poker player on earth, but he is without a doubt one of the most entertaining guys in Hollywood. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know in the comments. What's the most ruthless prank you've ever pulled on your sibling? See you in the next one.
And then a couple days later, we left Korea. I get back to the airport, and as I'm walking in, there was a van behind us. Out of this van steps 25 to 30 giant Korean men, all wearing suits, and they stand in a circle around me, holding hands, and they're walking me into the airport.